Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? Tanya MFK here with a Wednesday Live. We are live doing our weekly skill building lessons for you lovely entrepreneurs. Hello, hello. So just waiting for everyone to kind of mosey on in here today. So by request today, guys, we are talking about social media engagement. Like, oh my God, social media engagement. What will get you engaged? No, these are not dating tips. We are talking social media. So welcome, welcome. Come on in, guys, come on in. So, yeah, how's everyone doing? I'm here hanging out in purple today. I'm very purple. Honestly, it's because I realize I'm always wearing black, and it's really because I'm traveling and I don't have a lot of clothes with me. So I'm sprucing it up with this fancy scarf that I've been lugging around since like 4 years ago. I bought in China for $2.50. So I'm feeling fancy today in my little purple scarf. So that way I'm not always so somber in my black attire. But that's what happens, guys. You live minimally. I live out of a suitcase. It's life. So anyway, welcome, welcome. And today, like I said, we're going over social media engagement. And today what we are going to do, we are going to cover what the heck it is. Like I said, no, it's not dating advice to get you engaged. We're going to go what it is, what it's not, what problems that we are facing with it, why it's important, why it's not important. There's actually some cases where it's not important. And then I'm going to give you the 4 social media goals that you should be focusing on. And then we'll go through some posting tips and stuff like that at the end. Believe it or not, those are actually like kind of the least important things. I think there's a lot more that we are going to cover and get to the meat of what really matters. And then from that, you can take those tips and you'll watch that work, okay? Does that sound good, everyone? Does that sound good? Are we ready? You can type like I'm ready in the chat. It'd be great. Like I'm ready. Let's do this. Hi, oh my God. So yes, hello, hello, guys. So are you ready? Tell me you're ready, and then we are going to jump right in. Okay, so what is social media engagement anyway? WTF, right? It's really just a fancy marketing term way to say likes, comments, and shares. That's it. Likes, comments, and shares, guys. People are saying stuff, they're liking stuff, and they're sharing stuff. And that really doesn't matter what platform you're on. If you're Snapchatting, if you're Instagramming, you're Pinteresting, it doesn't matter. You're Facebooking, whatever you're ing. If you're liking, sharing, commenting, that's your engagement, right? People are, they're paying attention, right? That's all it is. People are paying attention and giving a damn about what you're posting, right? So what is the current problem? What is it that we're seeing? And really, trust me, you're not alone. Everyone is seeing this in some way, one or the other. Problem is times are changing, right? 5, 10 years ago, maybe it's 10 years already. The smart ones, they were there on like Facebook and they were posting like quotes and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so smart. Like, I love that. I feel so inspired. Guess what, guys? Like, that's not cutting it anymore, right? Social media quotes and all this like, cute stuff, like they're helpful, right? I mean, you're here in the group, you know, like I love posting stuff that's inspiring, absolutely. But that is not gonna cut it for your plan. Okay, so before we could just post up a quote, we could ask open-ended questions like, what do you think? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad she asked. Like, I have so much to say. Not the case anymore, right? Not the case. And this is why. Everybody has 15,000 friends, and each of those friends are posting 17 things or more, probably 17,000 things, to be realistic here, these real numbers. And unless we were gonna have some crazy like time-lapse feed, like you open up your Facebook and it's just like going crazy, you cannot see all of it. Facebook and Instagram, they can't make it happen. They're like, you have too many friends, everyone's posting something. There's no way I can help you see everything, right? So they're like, well, we're gonna post what I think they want to see. So they're going to pick who you already chat with, who you already engage with, and all of that fun stuff. And they're going to say, well, that obviously, like, she likes her, so we're going to keep showing her that. So some BFF that you may totally very well like, you have no idea what's going on with them because Facebook's like, well, you guys haven't talked in a while, so clearly you're not friends, and we're not going to tell you anything that's going on. So if that's happening with your like out-of-state BFF, what do you think's happening with businesses? Like, we're way less important, okay? So it's not getting seen. Like, it doesn't matter how great what you're posting is, it's not getting seen, right? And we're not seeing the whole picture. There are thousands of things that we are missing as normal people, let alone what we're missing as businesses, right? So the only way to find this stuff is to seek it out. You might go, oh my gosh, like I haven't seen what Gina posted in a while. So you go up and you look and you're like, oh yeah, Gina, she's still there. Like, I wonder what happened. But no one's gonna do that for a business. No one's gonna be like, oh, you know what did, you know, my plumber say recently? Like, I'm just curious, I haven't seen him in a while. No, not gonna happen, all right? So if that wasn't scary enough, there's a harsh truth that we all as business owners and marketers need to hear, have heard, will hear at some point in our careers. This is the harsh truth. If you're not getting comments, likes, shares, one, people aren't seeing it, as we just discussed. And if they are seeing it, and if they're not seeing it, actually both reasons, it's because you're not posting stuff that people like, want to comment about, or share. Ouch, right? Like, that hurts, it stings a little bit. But it's true, because if they were liking, commenting, or sharing it, then they would see it in the algorithm because they've been liking, commenting, and sharing it, and you're not seeing it because they don't like it, and you're not posting stuff that anyone gives a damn about. Like, ouch, oh, I know, okay? But there's another calming truth. That was the harsh truth. That was like, bam, right? But there's a calming truth, okay? And the calming truth, engagement isn't the only thing that gets the sales, okay? It's okay. Engagement isn't the only thing that gets the sales. Engagement is just a measuring stick to see what is working. So if you see that it's not working, you're like, well, thank you, engagement, for letting me know what I need to go back to the drawing board. Engagement is getting a cold prospect, someone who you have no idea who they are maybe, who clicks that like button and you're like, oh, hey, I see you. And they're like, yeah, me, I'm kind of interested. Like, I mean, I'm not ready to buy stuff yet, but like, I like what you're saying, right? And you're like, oh, I see you, okay? That's nice. You're like, it gives you an idea, okay? And it lets you know someone's paying attention. Okay, that's what engagement really is, okay? Engagement will never be as important as having a marketing strategy. It will never be as important as having an actual marketing strategy, okay? And a marketing strategy and plan is what's going to determine your social media strategy, right? So instead of going and figuring out a social media strategy, like, what should I post here? What should be the theme? What should do this? Which I highly, highly recommend. But before you do that, you need to, I want to make sure everyone's doing okay right here. Everyone hears me okay, right? Sounds great. Okay, good. So, just totally lost my train of thought there. So before you do all that and plan this great social media strategy, you should have a marketing strategy, right? You should know what the bigger picture is besides like your theme and colors and what you feel like talking about in social media for the month. There's something that it needs to correlate with, which is a marketing strategy, which then correlates with sales strategy, like all this stuff, right? Like there's something else that needs to happen. Together, those two things, the social media strategy, the marketing strategy, together, those, when they're done right, those will create the engagement. And it's because you're going to find the right people, right? That's ultimately the, like, that's a sneak peek here, right? Because that's kind of the answer to all of this right now, is that the end really comes down to who we're talking to, all right? Maybe your posts aren't really that bad, but stick with me. Okay, so to recap, engagement is just likes, shares, and comments. If you're not getting them, it's because you're not posting stuff that people like, comment, share, or care about, okay? Or perhaps you're a victim to the algorithm. Don't freak out though, because it's not the most important measure of what you are doing. And if we focus on the right marketing strategy and combine that with a complementing social media strategy, the engagement will come, okay? So if everyone with me so far, sticking with me here, you're like, okay, I'm seeing there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe what I'm posting isn't so great, but we're gonna learn something, right? So chat right here, I got you, totally here, okay? So, everyone here? Yes, awesome, all right. So in our last class, I asked you to define who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? What are their problems? What are their pains? What matters to them? We even went further to get real niche and specific, because then you can have a real niche and specific message, right? If you haven't defined that, then it doesn't matter what you say, because you don't know who you're talking to, and they don't know that you're talking to them. That simple. They're not going to respond. They're not going to interact because they're like, it's kind of me, it's bland, whatnot, okay? So if you haven't done this, turn me off, go back, there's a replay, you're fine, come back later. Go do your homework first, and then come meet us back over here, okay? You need to do that first. There's absolutely no success you are going to find if you cannot define that part first, all right? For the rest of us, now that we have determined who we're actually talking to, I want to ask you this. Are you in the right place? Are you in the right place? So if you know who you're talking to, and you've decided that it is 40 to 50-year-old business women, and you are on Snapchat, are you in the right place? And I know some of you are out there and you see some very successful business people and marketers, you're like, well, they have a channel everywhere. You're like, you're right, but they started somewhere else first. They can do that because they have have the success. They probably have a marketing team that can go out and spend time there. And there are little viable things that can be done. Gary Vaynerchuk, who's the top in my industry, he's on Snap. He's everywhere. He's everywhere, right? But 17-year-olds, 13 to 17-year-olds, I think is a demographic on Snapchat, is not his top. He can do it though because he has like a team of a bazillion people, all right? So I don't need to be on Snapchat yet. Right? It's not important. So are you in the right place? Ask yourself that. Should I be messing with this platform? Is Pinterest where I need to be, or should I be focused on LinkedIn? Is Facebook where I need to be, right? I know we're hanging out here right now, but know your demographics, know what these social media places hold. If you haven't checked it out already, I have a social media cheat sheet that gives you all the ins and outs of what each one is so you can see if you're in the right place, right? So go check that out. If you're here in the BizBuilders Group, it's in the file section. So just go up there, it's right there. You don't need to do anything, okay? So now, if you said, yes, Tanya, I've totally checked this out, I know where I am, I'm in the right place, then I want to ask you this. Why are you here? Really? Why? Well, why are you here? Like, what do you want? What do you want? Okay? There are only 4 goals that businesses should have on social media. Just 4 sections, 4 things that businesses should be focusing on social media. That's it. No more, no less, just 4 things, okay? And selling is not one of them. Selling is not one of them. What? That's the whole reason I'm on social media, right? I know, okay? Closing the sale. Let me do that. Closing the sale is not one of them, all right? Stop trying to sell on social media. You are there to create a community. You're there for them to know you. You are there to offer value. You are there to get them into your email list. You know that little thing you own? Because unless Mark Zuckerberg is sitting right here listening to me right now, hi Mark, you don't own Facebook. Right? You don't own Facebook, you don't own Pinterest, you don't own Instagram, you don't own any of this. You own your email list. So getting on social media should be a way for you to get them to your house, to your playing field, to your website, and better yet, to your email list, because then you can talk to them. You can't talk to people on your website, right? You can be like, hey, you, let's chat. Like, maybe if you have that chat thing. That's a whole other thing. We're not going to go there. Get them into your email list. To turn someone who is cold, who has no idea who you are, to warm. If you're like, oh yeah, I've seen her picture. Like, she's cool. Like, maybe I'm warm. I'm interested. It's got me in. Anyway, or warm to hot. Maybe you're someone who's like, yeah, I've kind of seen it around, and you're like, all right, we need to switch these people who are like kind of just warm to get like excited. Like, yeah, I love this, right? So this is what we need to do. This is what we're there to do though, right? And I can hear it. People are like, what do you mean that you don't sell? I have stuff being sold to all the time. I see all these ads to buy stuff. Wrong. The sale doesn't happen on social media. The sale doesn't actually happen on social media. I'm going to give you an example, right? So for months, I haven't seen it for a while, but for months, right? As a female here, I had the ad for these like cosmic yoga pants, right? Just cosmic universe yoga pants, like all the time. But here's the thing, they weren't asking me. They weren't like, hey, buy these pants, they're $10.99. I mean, they were, but they weren't. It was never actually said, right? It would show up and people wouldn't just click and be like, oh my God, I want these, click and buy it, right? Because that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So they would show up and they would look at it and there were steps involved that this company knew to set up. They didn't ask people to buy. They asked for micro commitments. They didn't ask them to buy. They asked them for micro commitments. Sometimes that micro commitment was, hey, do you like these? Click the like button. I can commit to that. I do like those pants. Right? That's an easy one. Or the real common or popular one, tag a friend who would love these. You're like, oh my God, I totally know who would love these. Look, Angela, you totally love these, right? Everyone loves these, okay? So we tag a friend who loves these. Or maybe you were like a little more committed for that, and you're like, oh, check out the page. They said, check out our page for more styles. You're like, I'm interested. I'm gonna go look at the page. Or maybe once you got on the page, they were even pushed so bold to say, hey, get our 5 tips on how to choose the right yoga pants, right? Opt in here. They got your email, right? Those are very small micro commitments. They weren't like, hey, do you want to buy these? You want to buy them? We're on sale. We can buy them. You want to buy them? You want to buy them? We free shipping and buy them. But no, that's not what they did. We know they're pants. We know we would have to buy them. But that's not what they were asking. They were asking for micro commitments. And then what they would do from there is whoever liked that page, whoever got tagged on that page, they would retarget you. They would send another ad, perhaps another email if you had opted in. They went and found you again, because right now you were cold. You were interested. You're like, oh, those are interesting, but like you don't really know them. You might see those pants, but like, those are cute. I'm going to go to Target and look for them, because Target I trust. Target I know, right? I'm going to go to my local shop, whatever it is. But you're like, oh, I don't know. You'll look. You might even go forward to like look in the cart because you want to see how much they really cost versus shipping. But you still don't know them. You're like, okay. But they kept showing up, and they became familiar. They became warm, and you're like, oh, yeah, I like these guys. Next thing you know, you bought the damn pants, right? Like, I wish I could just lift up my leg right now and show that I was wearing cosmic yoga pants. Wouldn't that be like, bam, like. Such a good point. Didn't happen though. But anyway, they're asking for those micro commitments, okay? And then they're retargeting. And it's because the sale doesn't happen on social media. Social media is where the conversation starts. Social media is where the awareness begins. Social media is where the authority is established, okay? I'm gonna say that again. Social media is where the conversation starts. Social media is where the awareness begins. And social media is where the authority is established. Okay, is this making sense, guys? Like, you still with me so far? Everyone hear what I'm saying here? Like, type yeah in the chat if this is making sense. And I will definitely, I'm going to get to some of these questions as well. I think this is good. Yeah, Stephen, you got that as well. Emails, absolutely. We'll talk about some of that process in a little bit as well. So, but so far, you kind of get the point, like that our goals are slightly different. So what I'm going to go to now is I said that there are 4 social media goals for business, and I want to jump into those. Okay, so let's talk about 4 social media goals for business. And the first one is social media listening. Okay, social media listening tends to be for more established companies, or it depends on also what you're selling, what your product is, or what it is. But this social media listening is when a company's goal is really staying out there, responding to customer service, reputation management issues on the internet, right? So if you see that people are complaining about, I'm gonna put this as something simple, like pizza, right? Someone's in there and they're like, oh, thanks Pizza Hut for just being terrible and always being late, and oh my gosh. And you're over here and you're Domino's Pizza and you're like, oh, good to know that Pizza Hut's not doing so well. I'm out here listening and paying attention to what's going on. Perhaps I drop in there and I'm like, hey, Joey, we could totally get your pizza on time for you, right? Or maybe it's the other way where it's like, whoa, Pizza Hut's like, oh my gosh, hey, sorry guys so much, here's a free pizza, right? They want to manage their reputation, right? That's another option for social listening, managing their reputation. Or perhaps they want to increase retention, right? They want to keep the customers they already have, so they're out there listening, paying attention, trying to keep their current customers happy. Right? And they're doing this, their focus is reducing refunds, increasing retention, managing reputation, identifying product gaps, right? So if you hear your customers talking about and complaining about things, this is a great place for you to stay and be like, this is my point on social media. This is what I go to social media for as a business, is to find out these things, right? Or content gaps. Maybe where someone's like, I wish I knew XYZ about this more. You can go and find out, okay, this is what I need to be here for. This is what I need to be providing, right? So social media listening is one goal that you can be there for. Now we're gonna go to social selling. Wait, I thought you said no selling, right? This is a different version, social selling. So social selling, right, I'm on here to generate leads and eventually sales from existing customers and prospects on the internet, right? So generating leads is growing an email list, right? This is what we were talking about, growing an email list. How do I get their email? There are actually different options now for people to submit their email on Facebook. It really depends. One is actually through ads. Of course, they have a thing called a lead ad, literally just a lead ad where the whole thing is pre-filled out and their names are entered and you're capturing it for something, right? They're giving you something for something, right? There's an exchange happening that may not be monetary, but email is a big trust. Like, email is a big deal. If I think you're just going to be spammy and show up in my inbox and be ridiculous and sell nonsensically and bug me, I don't want to have you in my email. I don't want you there, right? I don't want to give that to you. So people can be really apprehensive about that. And this goes back to why this trust factor and you creating this community on social media is so much more important than trying to make that sale, because once you do that, you establish that trust, they will throw that email at you. You've showed that you can give them value already, and they'll give you that email for something. Girl, you still have to add some more value, but you need to give them something. And that tends to happen instead of Messenger and all that, where it can happen as well, but it tends to happen outside of social media, as we discussed again, right? So this is sending them to a landing page, which I know that Stephen mentioned in here, right? A landing page is something that is now amazingly free and easy to create. Like, I can create it, and that's saying a lot. In MailChimp, that's like, because I paid a lot of money to be able to create lead pages before. So being able to create lead page, even free through MailChimp, is super awesome. That's an easy way to capture emails through your website. You know, different things, lead boxes, WordPress has, like, there's different plugins. I mean, this is like kind of a technical thing, so we'll have Stephen come in here one day and talk about it. But that needs to be the focus. The focus needs to be getting the email, building your list, and being able to take this conversation somewhere else where you own it, right? And you're not fighting an algorithm. You're not being forced to pay for people to see it, because that's ultimately what advertising is on Facebook, right? That's that, right? So generating leads, growing an email list. I went on this social selling one for a minute, right? Generating new customers, cross-selling or upselling, so selling more to the customers you have. And I love that you mentioned that, because selling more to people who've already bought something, yes. Again, it still doesn't happen on social media. It's going to happen somewhere else. But being able to facilitate the customers you already have and upsell them, mention new products, new things, yeah, of course, that can be done, because they've already bought from you. They're a warm audience. Your focus is no longer on establishing authority and all the things, because they've already experienced that. They have the value, right? So we're still in number 2 of the goals, and this is social selling. So generate new customers, generate leads, cross-sell or upsell, which is basically selling more to the customers you have, or increase the buyer frequency, which is selling more often to the customers you have. So maybe you have a product that makes sense to buy several times, and you've already had people who bought it once or twice, and you're like, they should be buying this every month, or this is something they should get all the time. So you're going on there to sell to those customers, remind them that you're there, maybe talk more about the product, whatnot, and why it's so amazing to have every 2 weeks, okay? So again, I want to point out that social selling really focuses on the customers you already have when it comes to that word selling. All right, so the number 3 thing that we have as a goal that businesses should have on social media is social influencing. Now, if this is your goal, this is about establishing authority on the web, often through distribution and sharing of valuable content, right? What we just kind of talked about. This focus here now is focusing on increasing engagement, right? Increase the number of people that know, like, and trust you. Now, I like this because we've talked about engagement being liking and commenting and sharing, right? But you get that engagement by increasing the number of people who know, like, and trust you, right? So it's not about gimmicks and little things that try to get people to say stuff. It's about establishing the authority as the person, as who you are, as the brand or the business that is going to eventually make someone care enough to want to engage and say stuff, right? They want to talk about it. They're like, oh my God, I love talking to this person about it, okay? Increasing your web traffic, okay? So again, now we're talking about social influencing. So I'm on the social web, it sounds so weird. I'm on social media to get people to my website, right? Again, I'm not trying to just make it happen here. I'm using this as a tool to get them where I want them to be, where in my playing field, right? So part of the social influencing goal is to increase website traffic. So at that point, you're like, I'm doing things on social media that will come to this end result, right? Increasing the offer awareness, which is increasing the number of people that know what you offer, right? So again, we're focusing on trying to find the people and increasing the awareness, but we're not focusing on the sale yet. We're trying to gather them in a place to get them over to where we can start to do our process, right? Our marketing and sales strategy. Number 4 of the social media goals for businesses, and the 4th one here is social networking. That's something we've all heard. Everyone calls it social networking. Social networking is actually networking, okay? So finding and associating with authoritative and influential individuals and brands on the social web, okay? This is where your focus is earning mentions, right? Someone else talking about you, perhaps getting interviews, links from bloggers, creating synergistic partnerships, being invited to speak somewhere. A lot of times this is aligning yourself with the same like-minded people that aren't in competition with each other. So your goal when you get on social media is going to these people you want to align yourself with and perhaps commenting and talking and reaching out and bringing ideas and being involved, right? No longer are you sitting there thinking like, what can I post for this inspiration thing? Because that's not your business's goal. Your business's goal right now is this social networking, is to get mentions, is to get other people talking about you, right? Yes, establishing authority, so important. And you do it this way. So again, now you're not guessing what to post as much. You're like, I know what my goal is now here, right? And developing these strategic partnerships, like mutually beneficial relationships with influencers, or even just synergistic partnerships. I'm sad I don't have like a normal people way to say that. But ultimately what that is, guys, is like, I had a travel blog and a travel Instagram. And I would have hotels follow me, okay? And it's like, well, how does that work? Okay, well, I'm traveling, they're a hotel, there's a potential of working together there, right? Maybe I'll stay at their hotel, maybe I'll mention their hotel, maybe something like that, right? So they were aware of what their goal was. They probably got on social media, had a person who was like, okay, I want you to go check these hashtags of these travelers. If they have this many followers and above, I want you to follow them, mention something, right? They knew their goals. They knew their goals, so they knew what they were doing once they showed up. Now, those are the 4, right? So let's just recap again. Social media listening, social selling, social influencing, and social networking. Those are the 4 main things that you, at one point, will be focused on all of them. And when you're starting, you should really just looking at one. Like, what's my point? Why am I here, right? That's how I started this conversation. Why am I here? So like I said, at one point, you'll undoubtedly be juggling all of these. But it's best to choose one to focus on to start. By doing this, you're going to know how to measure what's successful and what's not. And you're going to be able to look at social media content ideas and compare it to this goal and ask, does this fit? Does this fit? If I'm here to listen and pay attention, if everyone's okay with our service and everyone's happy, if there's issues they're experiencing, and that's my social media goal, like that's where our business exists on social media, is to like manage our customer base, then inspirational quotes don't do a damn thing for that goal, okay? Like that doesn't matter. Like technical jargon actually does better for that goal because I'm dealing with people who already have experienced my product. But I know that. I know that because we've specified our goal, right? Is this making sense? Like we're in a good place here? And I'm gonna give some tips. We're gonna go into tips in just a minute. And I wanna make sure like these are the foundations. These things are what we really have to look at. And when we see that and we're clear on that, we're going to gain the right audience. And when we have the right audience, they will be engaged because they want to be. We don't have to flip a switch. We don't have to trick them into it. We don't have to. It's not necessarily, and I said this earlier. I said it kind of get aroused out of everybody. But like, nobody likes what you're posting. But a lot of times you're just posting to the wrong damn people. And the truth is because it's the wrong people. They don't care, right? But when we have this focus, we have this goal, we're going to find the right people, the people who are there because they want to be there, the people who are there because we found them. We spoke their message and they were like, yes, oh my God, that's totally me. And this lady totally resonates with me. I want to hear what she's saying. And they are going to be engaged, right? They're going to be engaged. Okay. So it's making sense. Type it's making sense. Yes, I got it. It's amazing. My mind is blown. Maybe I'm not doing all that, but you could say it. I'll take it. Just saying. Okay. So We've looked at the 4 goals. Maybe you can type in, if you know your goal, you can type the goal in, right? Type the goal in there and just claim it. Like, this is my focus right now, okay? And like I said, at some point, that's going to be all of them, and that's okay. But having your social media clear and defined is way more beneficial than just getting general engagement. If you have this focused, you're going to be getting the right engagement, and you'll know how to measure your success. So I did promise some general tips, which, yes, we do need those too. So here are some posting tips. We're going to get into that now, right? Posting tips. So first of all, we want to do posts that get comments, right? That's like a big thing. Then you need to post something that authentically invites a conversation, right? The open-ended questions, we're almost immune to them. We kind of know, like, it's very salesy in some ways. It's very like, and what do you think? Like, why does she really care? Why does he really care? Like, what are they hoping to get from this? So I think when you start to ask the questions, they should be really genuine questions that, like, is something for you as from the business standpoint. You're like, I'm asking this because I want to understand it. Like, I want to get this, right? And when it comes from that place, it will also come across as authentic, and people on social media, yes, they want to share their damn opinion, right? So we want to post something that authentically invites conversation, right? Another way to do this is posting something that polarizes, right? Something that's like, maybe you have an opinion or a feeling about something. Don't be afraid to be controversial if it's you. Be 100% you. And it's scary because we've been taught to, like, well, we don't want to upset anybody. You know, you don't go to Thanksgiving dinner and say something that's going to upset your aunt because you know how she is, and you don't want to say something because you know your dad's like this. And oh my God, let's not pretend like we're not on Facebook. And for my US friends here, like, hello, if your feed is not completely inundated with the gun conversation right now, right? And so many people are still, they don't want the arguments. They don't want whatever it is, for whatever side you're on, they don't want it, so they're not saying it. But you definitely, we all have friends on what, I'm sure on both sides of the argument, that they are 100% comfortable and outspoken and clear on what they want to say. And damn you right, if you look at their comment sections, there are comments. There is a conversation happening because they stood up and said, damn it, this is how I feel about this, right? This can happen in every industry and everything that you do. We have opinions. I have opinions about marketing. I have opinions about some of the stupid tactics that come through my DM email, right? The one that was supposed to be amazing is this RE, right? Regarding, and then they write the subject, and it's supposed to get your attention because that's what you see when you're already talking to somebody, right? That's like you've emailed them back that you're going to see that RE ... right? And so that was the tactic. But I hate that it's a tactic because I wasn't talking to you. So you're being slimy and it's stupid. And there's somebody, if I posted that up, I'm sure there's our marketers who are like, yeah, but if you look at the engagement rates are really high and the ends justify the means, and then someone else would argue, blah, blah, blah. And there would be a conversation because that's what matters in my industry. People want to talk about it, or people just want to give their opinion, right? Whatever that is, there's something you have an opinion about, and it's time to be comfortable with it. And it doesn't have to be some rude opinion. It doesn't be like so, but it's like, I don't like this, or I see this, I do like this, I think this is a great thing, you know, and I'd love to see if anybody's had experience with this. But again, it needs to come genuine, right? So stand for something. You can say, this is crap, I hate this, or provide the platform for discussion, right? Here's an article about blah, blah, blah. I think this. What do you think about XYZ specifically? Now, I just saw this happen recently on my feed from a friend who's a health coach, and she posted out with some new legislation that came out about like holding, I think, restaurants responsible for some of their, for their nutritional sets, something like that. I'll be honest, like I've been in that nutritional space for so long, I just kind of, I watched the comments. But people had, she was like, I'm really conflicted about this. And she was like, part of me feels that it should be the responsibility of the person, but the other part of me feels this. And people who are not health gurus or whatnot, they all jumped in and chimed in. They were like, I'm fat because I eat fat, it's my problem, you know, and I don't know why they have to have that accent, but, and then other people were like, I think this and this and this. And some people were just in there being asses, and other people were being really genuine. And there was a genuine conversation happening. And for her as a health coach, having the insight to what these people think who are potentially her clients, is gold, right? So she had a reason and a purpose to be there. It wasn't like, I'm posting this just to post to get engagement. Okay, do you see how this like ties in again? Where this comes back to those 4 goals. She's not posting for the sake of engagement. It's within her industry. She genuinely wanted to know. It does actually help her business. And the conversation was there. She got the engagement, a lot of engagement, right? A lot of feedback. So this was so helpful. Okay, so write posts that get comments. Just talked about that. Be an authority. Be an authority. So when you're posting things that allow you to demonstrate your skill, your insight, or knowledge, things that offer value directly from your experience, when you're able to say, you know, this could be as simple as like you're traveling and you're like, I was at this hotel and this was the worst restaurant I've ever been to. And you're like, someone's like, I believe her because she was there. I know she was there. She's saying it was terrible and whatever, right? So like I'm demonstrating my authority through this post, right? I'm showing something. I'm showing that I know something, that I can do something. One thing I'd like to throw in this for some of you new entrepreneurs in here who don't have a huge following, you underestimate what the value is of actually announcing to your existing base, like of just friends and family and whatnot, what you do, okay? Like what you actually do. I have plenty of friends and families who actually aren't exactly sure what the heck I do. And I had to start switching that up by like letting them know what I do, by making announcements, by, I wrote an article and I shared it. And I wrote, hey, for everyone who's wondering what the heck I'm doing, check this out. And I was amazed how many friends and families, either family members, but not like either supported it and were just like, yeah, way to go. And others who were like, dude, I've been needing something like this the whole time. I had no idea that's what you were doing. And you just assume that everyone sees what you're doing because they know you. But again, algorithm, they have no idea. You need to announce it. Say, this is what I'm doing now. You need to work on switching some of that mindset as well for them, because they may only see you as a certain person. They don't know this person that you've grown into. And it's time for you to go ahead and share it. Like, you're passionate about this, let them know this is what I'm about now, right? It's like the teenager, like, Mom, I'm a goth now. It's totally what I'm into. Deal with it, right? Black lipstick and all is happening, right? They can do it. Like, come on, good for you, teenagers. You're like, this is me now, right? This is what you think. This is me now, right? I am the authority on this. Own it, claim it, tell people. And if you haven't already, and I'll tell you guys more about this in another one, but there's an awesome way to actually segment your posts to all your friends. And like, so if say you have like, okay, I don't want to inundate like grandma and grandpa with this post all the time, but I'm going to post it on my personal page. You can actually create a little segment. So you post it through your personal still, but it'll only show up on the group that you've created. I've done this for surprise parties, right? I'm like, I'm posting this to everyone here except birthday girl. And I can just go and I don't have to create like an event page and hope they see it and like all this. Just gonna post it on my regular Facebook. You can do this. I do this. I have 700 something people on my Facebook, and some of those people I'm not gonna spam over and over with. They already know what I'm doing. My brother and my mom, they know what I'm doing, right? So I create a thing. I create one that's like business acquaintances, people I think can benefit from it, but I do kind of know them. Sometimes people I've met traveling, whatever makes sense, you know. So I was selling stuff when I was moving, and I made a list of only people that live close by, because why am I going to announce it to my friends in Thailand, like if they want to buy a couch? They don't need to see that, right? So I was like sales list, and I literally only wrote people who I think would buy stuff from me, okay? And so when I posted it on Facebook, those are only the people who saw it. This is something you can do, okay? So you can do this. So, right. So we can do that. We're being an authority. Next, be authentic. I know I just talked about that a little bit, but say what you really mean. Say what you really mean. Be unfiltered, you know? Don't try to please everyone. Say how you feel so they can look at you and say, oh my God, she's saying what we're all thinking, right? How the heck do you think Trump got elected, people? Like, this is how people are like, I love it. He's genuine. Sorry if any of you are Trump supporters. I'm going to be polarizing. I'm not, right? Deal with it. It's okay. I still love you. I still love you. So, but he was authentic. He said what he wanted. He said things that we would most of us gasp. We're like, oh, nobody would. Why would you say that? That is like the worst thing, right? Like you can't say that. You can't do that on television. The next tip for your posting is be the engager, right? Instead of expecting everyone to engage, be the engager yourself. So talk, don't sell, right? Answer questions. If somebody, I do this all the time, right? I mean, my big passion and stuff was in natural products and all that. I worked a lot. I used to work with Whole Foods and different companies coming through there, and Natural Products Expo, all this fun stuff. And so anytime I see a friend or family or extended acquaintance write something about like, I have this problem, what should I do? I'm always the first one, even if it's like someone I barely ever talk to, I'm always the first one jumping in like, you should do cupping therapy, and you need oregano oil, and you need to buy this. And, you know, I just like, I can't stay quiet about it. Like I have to say something because I know somebody's going to say something, I was going to say stupid, but it's not nice. Something I don't agree with, right? Which is going to be some conventional, chemical-laden, over-the-counter situation, and I have an issue with that. So being authentic and being the authority on the things that I do know, I jump in and I engage. I'm, of course, kind and all those things, but I answer questions. I go out of my way to be social and answer questions, right? I become the engager, right? Now, this also allows me to become the source of authority on these things. Again, same kind of situation. I had a friend's brother, right? His little brother posted something asking about like Trader Joe's versus Whole Foods, right? I have a very definitive opinion and understanding of why they're different, and also why a lot of people mix up Trader Joe's as a health food store, which it is not. This is a private label store. Another time. They do have maybe perhaps healthy foods, yes, but that is not their market, that is not their focus, and that is not actually like their mission, right, at all. That's not their mission at all. And I definitely wanted to jump in and say that. He was like, wow, like, I'm so glad you said something. I had no idea. I didn't know this was such your thing. And now like he seeks me out if there's a question about stuff. Now he knows like that's my thing. He didn't know that, even though I post stuff all the time about this. He didn't know. He wasn't through my algorithm, right? Because we don't chat. So I had an opinion. I became the authority. I was answering questions. I was talking. I didn't sell. I was talking. I share references, right? I share references and links. People find me as the place to go. They're like, hey, Tanya, I was thinking about starting this business. I wanted to pick your brain. I had a question. They become to know that I am a source of information for these things, right? So even if they're not purchasing from me, so I'm developing this network, and they refer other people to me. All of these things happen because I engage, right? Because I share, I say my comments. Another thing is invite people to engage, right? Like, come, yeah, everyone thinks this is a health store. So not true. Invite people, like, hey, like, come check this out. Come do this. Like, we forget to ask. Sometimes we forget to just say, like, come on over, check it out, right? We're so afraid of selling that we like don't even help, because really we're helping, right? That's what this is, we're helping, okay? So the other thing is to share other people's content. So you can share stuff in the industry. It's not about competition, it's about complementary. A lot of times, you know, it's people are going to buy from you because they like you, and if they buy from someone else, they were going to anyway. Okay, so share other people's content, share user content. You know, if you, depending on your industry or what you're working in, you may even have something that is like someone shares a concern with you. They're like, hey, you know what, I always thought Trader Joe's was a health food store, and I just found out today it wasn't. I was really frustrated. And you can maybe block out their name and say, look, I got this comment today, and this is what frustrates me so much about the health food industry. And you go on your little rants, but you use somebody else's content, of course with permission. You can use these things though, right? You can use, maybe someone else uploads something that you can share, all these things, right? So UGC, user generated content. It could be a story of somebody's, a fear, an anecdote, and then share your own insights and thoughts on that. And of course, other people in the industry sharing that content as well, right? That's a way to become an engager. So another step in knowing what to post to get engagement, This is a really simple yet analytical one, is know your optimal times. Depending on where you are and where you're located in the world and what your topics are, if you're not checking your own analytics, you should be. Let's start there. You should have a business page of whatever social media you are using. I think, and Snapchat's the only one where I think like that's almost irrelevant. You have to pay for it, so don't worry about that right now. Okay, but Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of these have business account options. And one of the benefits of many from doing that is that you get your analytics, right? You see what people engage in, what times are your peak times. Now, if you're not doing that, go do that. Like, it's time. You need to do that. If you're going to grow your business, you need to have business accounts, period. All right? In order to move forward, while you're waiting to start growing those analytics, do some research. There's plenty of general statistics out there that will tell you when people most engage with this, when people most engage at this time, or in this country, or in this whatever, right? You know, if you have gamers, they stay up late at night and you're in the US, then, you know, high engagement times might be at 3 a.m. You know, if you're doing, you know, workouts, or you're working at entrepreneurs and they're up at 5 a.m., maybe that's where your highest engagement is. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're like, don't check social media, and so they're at noon. There's analytics out there, is my point. So pay attention to them. Like, do that, you know, work your way around the algorithm problem. Find out when people are paying attention. Post at those times. So yeah, know it. That's another one. Next thing here is, I wrote, don't be all doomsday. But what I mean by that is, post it again. The world isn't ending, okay? Don't think like, I already posted it. There's like, that's it. That's the life of the post. Hello, algorithm. I see you. Just moving my stuff around so nobody sees it. Post it again. If you created something awesome, say it again. And you can even say, you can pre-qualify it by saying, in case you missed it, here's this. When I announce Wednesday Live, I announce it 2 to 3 times a day. I send an email reminder because I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where I am on your algorithm. So I'm going to take more chances to share it. If I share an article, I'm going to share it a couple times because I want to make sure people see it. Post it again. It is not the end of the world. AKA, don't be all doomsday. Do it again. Share it. Keep it alive. Keep it going. Don't get spammy. We all know about that. I don't even think that has to be said. But post it again. Tell people, right? So yes, that. Plan. That is the next thing, right? Plan. So if you're going to get posts, you want your post to be good. Your social media needs to be focused around a goal and a purpose, right? It needs a goal and a purpose. If you plan on selling a membership to something at the end of the month, then your content leading up to that should be prepping, planting seeds for that big bam announcement. So anyone even cares, right? So this plan, you should know what your goal is. Now we talked about the top 4 goals, okay? So we're just getting here. We talked about those top 4 goals, but outside of that, what are your sales goals? Like, what is your actual like plan for the year? Like, okay, I'm going to launch this. I have this going on and that going on. So leading up to it, I should be talking about this, right? Deborah, I'm going to use you as an example right now. You have the meal planning and prepping coming up, right? So a lot of your social media, not all of it, because you have different things going on, right? But some of your social media should probably be talking about the benefits of that, recipes of that, you know, stories from people who have had great success with that, or people who are like adamant that's the only thing that works for them, different versions of that. Planting the seeds, creating the theme that people are like, you know what, that is a good idea. I've really been meaning to do that one of these days. And then, bam, by the way, guys, I happen to be doing that right now. Like, oh, mind blown, right? So, yeah, like, that's how we create the plan. So we want to know the goal at the end. We want to have the end result in mind. I heard this recently. They said if J.K. Rowling, when she wrote the book, she knew that what her end goal was, like, she had it in mind. And if she didn't know that she was wanting like this whole long story and these sequences, then she might have written the first book and basically, you know, this happened and then that was ended. It was done, right? But she wrote with the end, this further end in mind, right? She started at the end and wrote, you know, and thought backwards. She didn't write them all backwards, but, right? So keep the end in mind as you prepare the beginning, right? You want to be working towards something and not just spinning and swimming, right? Like in circles. No good. So the next one here, and we are wrapping up, guys, soon. So is advertising. Advertising. So you want to use advertising. You can use advertising to grow a page of people that actually want to hear from you. Okay. So this is, again, like posting tips. But a way to get posting tips for this engagement is to grow a page of people who want to hear from you. So if people are voluntarily liking the page, then more than likely you're going to get more engagement because they want to be there, right? You can advertise for page likes and leads. It's not always about selling, right? So use advertising to grow the audience who cares about and engage them, right? They're already a little warmer, okay? So like I said, sometimes people just don't care and they won't care, or they don't believe you, or they only know you one way, they see you a certain way. Oh no, she doesn't do that. You know, she's not a coach. Like, I just know her as a girl who does cake stands, right? Perhaps, or perhaps, you know, they don't know that you've done anything strong enough on social media, so announce what you do, like we talked about, right? Or don't fight that battle at all, and you just invite people who now can invite you into, you invite into the place of who you are now, okay? The next one here was give lots of value, right? Give lots of value. And I say this a lot, right? I'm always saying, like, value, 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 right? And it's not just me. Everyone's saying it because it's true. Value, 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 right? But the big thing I hear from people is like, well, I'm afraid to give away too much value because if I do, then they won't buy. Now, this is another harsh truth I'm going to share with you. There's probably nothing that you can do, say, tell them, or sell them that they don't already have free access to, right? Like, people know how to work out. People know how to, I mean, come on, YouTube, everything. I think there was something recently on Amazon that just got banned where they were selling, like, do your own, oh my God, what is it called? So you don't have, so the males don't have babies anymore. Like, it's the weirdest thing to talk about. Oh my God, why can't I think of it? A vasectomy. It was like a home vasectomy kit, right? And I'm sure there's a YouTube video somewhere that's going to tell you how to do it, right? Like, anything you can pretty much find for free how to figure out how to do on the internet, people. That's not what they pay you for. It's not that they can't find the information. It's not that it's not readily available. It's the package, right? It's the putting it together. It's the not having to find it. It's the accountability. It's all of those things, right? As someone who travels all the time, there's tours. Take any tour, right? For anything out here, I can just as easily find the place the tour is going, rent transportation, find the location on a map, go there myself, buy the tickets, find somewhere to eat lunch, you know, do whatever the thing is, and drive back. I can do that probably for half the price. But do I always want to do all of that? Will I actually step up and do that? Maybe I'll be like, oh, we should really go there sometime. We should really go there sometime. But then it's just so much easier to pay someone to do it, right? Sometimes, right? It's just easier. And that's what people are buying. They're buying the package. They're buying it already put together. They're buying the not having to think about it, not having to figure it out, not having to do it on their own, right? So give value, give lots of value, give tons of values, but make sure you have a plan on how to turn that value, how to turn these leads into someone who will buy, into something, right? So that's why, again, this engagement is not as important as having the plan that goes behind it. But give lots of value, okay? It takes time, effort, motivation, and knowledge to find, listen, and learn to do all of these things on your own. And when you already have the knowledge, the time, the wisdom to share, you're the authority then, right? So let's see where we are here. So you guys have any questions while you're thinking, while I'm thinking? Oh, this is another section. Sorry, this is one that I really wanted, and it looks like it's kind of messy on my notes, but this is the last one, and it's ask. Ask for engagement, right? Subi Zimmerman, she's known as the Instagram expert. She asks for engagement. When she does stuff, she says, you know, she teaches you something and she's like, and when you use the tactic, come and comment on my page, just tried this tactic, or hashtag boo boo boo. And she tells them to do it. And they're like, and she's like, I'll comment back. And she does, and they go and comment back, and then she has all this engagement, and her stuff's like way up here on the, you know, the feed because she has all this engagement, right? So she's like top of the algorithm because of this, because she asked. Oh, right? Mind blown. Just ask. Say, hey, comment below. Comment below, guys, if this makes sense to you right now. Maybe? Was this good? Just ask? Like, yeah, right? Just ask. Tell them to comment after completing a certain action. She tells her followers to tag her in a post. She tells them basically exactly what to do. I remember one thing she shared in her Instagram stories, and she said, if you want this, if you want this, this thing, then send me a direct video. Send me a DM, actually. She said, send me a video as a direct message, and then I will give you the final tip. And so you like, and like Instagram checks that, like, are they getting lots of messages? And like she tried it all, right? She tried different ways. She tried it through stories. She tried it through things. Now here's the thing, again, and I know that, so Deborah, you're saying you ask, and this is where we go back to some of the issues before. Do we have the right audience? Are we gathering the right people? Are we, you know, who are we talking to? Are we using the right message? So if we're still hearing these crickets, then we need to come back and reevaluate this again, you know, and look at maybe some of the advertising places as well. You know, our numbers will never matter as much as the quality of who's in there. I am dealing with a company right now who has a very large mailing list, and the mailing list was based off of a freebie, and the people may or may have not been interested in the freebie. They all signed up for it. We don't know whether or not they actually liked it, but they have this email list sitting there that's rarely really engaged in. And it's a large list. It's a list that a lot of us would probably be very thankful to have. But if you're not, but the way that they obtained them, the way that they got them in, which was through a very specific thing to opt in for like an ebook, and it wasn't that great a quality, so these people aren't very satisfied. They're not getting, the audience doesn't matter how many numbers they have. It's not who they want, and they basically need to go back to the drawing board. And that sucks, but it's also so empowering to know that now, and know that there's a way to switch it. Know that there are other avenues. Know that there are other things to do. I am coming across that in a lot of my own business stuff right now as well, and looking and evaluating, you know what, different avenues and options that I need to look at for things that I'm doing as well. Right, so yeah, asking them definitely help, and if you're not finding that, then come back and look and reevaluate the things that we talked about before as well. And tell them, sometimes tell them exactly what you want. Tag me here and I'll comment the DM video. I wrote that, like, she just asked for it. There's also some really awesome chatbot things to do with that, but we'll go into that another time where they can type something and then they'll actually receive something. Like type yes if you want the top 5 ways to pick yoga pants, and they actually comment yes, and then your bot will deliver the thing to them through Messenger. Like, it's kind of amazing, right? Like, I love that, because that starts to kind of get people used to engaging as well. So anyway, asking, yes, just ask. So that was, to recap, be polarizing, be an engager, be an authority, be authentic, know your optimal posting times. Don't be all end of the world and I can't repost. Repost and reuse your content. Plan. Use advertising to grow a base that knows and likes you. Give value and ask. Right? So those are your posting tips. How is that? Does that give you an idea somewhere on how to switch things up? Is that like a better guide than just some basic posting tips? You know, like if I just came here, you know, Deborah, and I was like, just ask. You're like, I've been doing that, like this, right? I think this is a lot more foundational to get to the nitty gritty of what's going on. These quick tip things that a lot of people have out there, they're just that, you know, and without the foundation to back it up, it doesn't matter. They're quick fixes, and they're not quality if we're just doing that. We need to get to the core of what it is that we're doing, what our real true point of being on social media is, and what our real marketing and sales plan is driving towards. Because in the end, engagement doesn't pay the bills. In the end, engagement is not what is going to confirm or deny that they're going to purchase something from you, right? Engagement is just a measuring stick on how well you're holding their attention. And if we're not, then it's either we're not doing a good job or they're not the right audience. And I'd much rather have answers to those two things than more comments or likes, right? So does anyone have any questions while we're still here? Anything specific? If you have anything specific, definitely happy to ask. There are some loose points too, if like for those things I talked about, right? There's just there's quick tip things that I did find, and they were things that and tell me if I started my whole like video with this, how annoying this would be if I just said these things. These are helpful. Okay, I should say that, but they are helpful. But if I was only saying this, but these are some of the lists you'll find online. They say, make people laugh, get people excited, make people think. Give people something practical and actionable. That's a good one. I like that one. Ask specific questions. We talked about that, right? Ask restricted answer questions like, do you think yes, this, yes or no? Ask about personal experiences. I do see some of you guys do that a lot, and I think they get pretty good responses. They say share doodles and graphics. This is a good one. I like this one because this is talking about sharing like images that are out of the norm instead of these perfect pictures. Like sometimes it's like a scribble of what you think. I saw some marketer where he basically all his branding was around a napkin he wrote an idea on, and it was just unique and it kind of got your attention. You were like, oh, that's nice. Like I like that. Have fun with memes and GIFs. That can be fun as well. Challenge people's assumptions. I do like this. You know, you think this is the way to do it, but what about this? This is really good in branding and marketing as well, is to do something that's like, wait, whoa, why would you say, this never works, Facebook is dead. And then someone's like, what do you mean? And they go, and they're like, well, not really. What I meant was, you're like, you got me there, right? Let's see. If you cite people, tag them in your post. Pay attention to other successful engagements. Always watch what other people are doing. That's important. Ask for shares or likes. Ask for recommendations. Take other news. You know, if there's something that relates to you that's in the news, that's another way they call it newsjacking. So you kind of like take something that's in the news that's seemingly unrelated, and then you kind of put your own like thoughts into it. But again, do you see how these are kind of like, these are weak at best? You know, like they give you a guideline, okay, some ideas, but our core is where we were, right? That's our core. So, so guys, thank you for sticking with me through this technical difficulty. I mean, that got tough for a minute, but we're back, we made it, and we're gonna go get some engagement. Thank you guys for being so engaged today. That was awesome. And yeah, you can always check the replay. These are always in all the videos at the top, all our past videos. If you are watching this on YouTube, guys, click that subscribe button and you'll get notified when our next lesson comes up, or step a little more and come and join us in BizBuilders. And while you're here and at it and looking at it, you know, comment, like, share, any of that below, right? All right, have a good week. Love you guys. We are off next week, so we won't be back until March 7th. So March 7th we'll be there. In the meantime, if there is something else that you would love for me to talk about or cover, send me a message, comment, share below, whatever it is, and I will see who we can, what we can cover. Okay, so so yeah, next week we are off. We'll be back March 7th, and if you got a topic idea, I would love to hear it. Otherwise, I'll show up with something myself. All right, see you guys all soon. Bye.